So we are going through YouTube today. This is the strategy to get the content you put out there working blimmin' hard for you. And as always, as we go along, please do ask questions as we go along, because I think it's much better to answer the question at the relevant point than it is to kind of go to the end, sift through the questions, and then have to go and find the corresponding slide and try and remember what I was waffling about. So please do feel free to ask any questions in the chat. I'm just muting some of you if that's all right. But yeah, let's crack on. Let's start at the very, very beginning, because the sooner I start, the more time we have for questions at the end as well. So hello, those of you, welcome along today. My name is Alan from Yellow Tuxedo, one half of Yellow Tuxedo with my wife, Emily, and we're on an adventure. We are inspired by businesses pretty much like yours, and it is literally our mission to share everything we've learnt over the years with you lot, so you can achieve your goals in a much quicker, simpler fashion. That's what we're all about. We do that mainly in a kind of online visibility space. We like, knocking down those blockers. That's what we do. And our community brand that sits underneath that is the Digital Circus. Some of you are already in the Digital Circus. Some of you may have heard of it. Some of you may not. The interesting thing is, we closed the doors to the Digital Circus today. You cannot join the Digital Circus today. You can join it from January. We are launching foundations. There will be a waiting list for it. And it will all make lots more sense when we put it out very, very soon. I am going to put the link in to the chat. This is the buy-in. You know this, we give away free information, we're feeding the kids. So there's a link in the chat that will take you after this to the Digital Circus page, where you can join the waiting list for when we launch foundations in the new year. Obviously, I'm not going to give you any more information than that, but it's a place that's a whole lot of fun with no prizes to be won. Right, let's crack on. So we have an agenda today. We're discussing YouTube. This is all about getting your content, igniting that content, and getting it working harder. We're going to start with an ecosystem introduction or a revisit if you've seen this before. Then we've got the 3 things you need to do to get your video found, fact. And then the 3 things you need to do to get your video clicked on, fact. And then our suggestion for a small business strategy for growing a YouTube channel, if that's what you want to do. Because as I said in the kind of some of the posts that we put out about this, dump and run on YouTube is an okay strategy. And what I mean by that is, you're creating video content to use on other platforms, and you go, oh, I might as well put it on YouTube as well. That is an absolutely okay strategy. But if you are going to do that, at least follow these tips as part of your workflow and get them doing more for you. And when we crack on, when we start anything, you need to know where you're going. You need to know what your B is, what your goal is, what you're trying to achieve. Because if you don't do that, then you're just kind of hitting and hoping and sort of seeing what's going on. So you have to always understand what you're trying to do. So if you've never spent 10 minutes trying to work out, and this might be global domination, legacy, and impact. This might be enough money to support me taking the kids on holiday a few times. It might be, as I met someone on Instagram today, I want to influence 1 million female business startups. It's only you know what it is, and whether it's business, life, or what that financial, or what that goal is. But please spend time working on what you're trying to achieve. It is so, so, so important. And that's one of the reasons we came up with our ecosystem model, is because the whole ecosystem model is about working for you when you are busy achieving your goals, doing what you want to do. We want anything you do that you put out on the internet working for you while you're asleep. One of the challenges with social media per se is that you have to continuously feed it. Whereas in the ecosystem model, when you factor in other platforms, it starts to live and breathe for you, and it can work whilst you're asleep. As we run through this, the whole point of this is building an audience, right? So at the middle, we have your website. Your website is like your Tesco's shop, okay? It's your building, it's your shop, it's where people can come and buy from you. It's where you convert them, whatever a conversion is to you, because it might be an inquiry, it could be a sale, it could be something else. But your website is at the very middle. The inner circle where it says email, preferred social platform, and chosen macro content, that's about audience. That's about creating a community. That's about creating fans of your brand. That's where the people sit when they want to know more from you and they are buying into what you do. And we start with preferred social media platform because the one you work hardest on is the one you want to be on. There's no such thing as this is best for that, this is best for that. And we proved that at the VA conference last week. So Emily and I were at the VA conference, 100 plus 120 odd VAs at this conference, 2 LinkedIn connections, 40 new followers on Instagram from VAs. So all these VAs are over here on Instagram because that's where they liked it. Okay, you could argue if you want to find a VA, go on Instagram. I'll accept that one. But my point is, you would usually say a B2B was on LinkedIn. And I know for a fact, Jules is a TikTok lover and does very, very well on TikTok, designer in your pocket there, for her branding clients. So preferred social platform is what we always say, because that's the one you're going to work hardest on. Email, that's the long-term nurture. That's where we're building our audience off platform. And we say off platform because email is the only place that you can have a non-algorithm affected group of people. It's massively important who have chosen to be there, who give you permission to land in their inbox. Email is super powerful. Never ignore it. And then the bottom one is chosen macro content. And macro content is YouTube videos, blogs, and podcasts primarily. It is optimizable. We're covering this today. Optimizable, evergreen content that's going to work out there forever for you, allowing people to start their know, like, trust sales journey without you needing to talk to them. It's very, very powerful. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about with YouTube today. Outside, that outer ring is anywhere else on the internet that you can find and you have the time to share yourself to. Anywhere else, whether you're using automations, whether you're using guest blogs, directories, other social platforms, whatever you choose. But fundamentally, it should always be about that journey through it all. And as I said, today, oh, wait, that might help if I click the right slide. Today, the one we're looking at is chosen macro content. That's what we're doing. We're going to be looking at YouTube specifically for this one. A couple more slides on the ecosystem, because we do like to get this across quite a lot. So one of the important parts of an ecosystem is connecting it up, making it simple, allowing opportunity to happen by the simplicity of how you connect it. And one of the many, 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 many things you can do to connect it is something like this. I borrowed this off the Singing Bear company a while back. They went viral with a business card and I was like, mind blown. And it's very simple. We see so many different variations of companies on all the platforms they get because they had an idea for a business name, wanted that, and then they've got derivatives of, where it actually makes way more sense to kind of try and find out what platform account names are available and have it uniform across them all so people can find you. We did the former when we started. We got excited and had lots of versions of Yellow Tuxedo, which then took us 6 months and copyright and lots of trademark stuff and lots of other things to tidy it all up on all the platforms. So please, please just bear these things in mind when you're growing. And one of the other main ways when you're growing an ecosystem is to only share links that will always come back to you. I.e., if you're using MailChimp or MailerLite, you don't want to share a landing page URL because that becomes a dead link after a period of time, especially if you move from one to the other and all of a sudden you've got a version of you out on the internet not doing anything. So please, please, please just think about this at all times, making sure it's simple and opportunities being created. Now we're getting a bit more to the YouTube area. One of the things we talk about with our content strategies with Digital Circus members and our one-to-one clients is understanding the generation and the creation of content. And one of the things you can do is once you've got your business goal, once you know what you're trying to achieve, is splitting your year up into overarching themes. So a quarter, a half year, and then you create content around that. So for us, our podcast, Digital Circus Life, that's been our theme for the past 6 months. So the content we've created has been around our podcast. So when it comes to our social content and our email content and repurposing, that's what we're doing about. So we never wake up going, what shall I talk about today? Because we chunk up our years and create content accordingly. Now, one of the reasons you lot are here is because you already create video content. So I don't have to persuade you on the importance of video content. You get that. So streamlining your strategy is what we're talking about today. And just thinking about it in a slightly different way makes your life significantly simpler as you go along. And here we are now on the YouTube section. Well, it's all YouTube really, isn't it? So YouTube and the small business owner. I need to find my notes. I've put you all over my notes, so I just need to do some adjusting. Apologies. So what are we doing today? What are we doing when we're on YouTube? So going back to knowing where you're going, you need to understand why you are putting a video on YouTube, all right? So as I say, there's kind of a few strategies for this. One is you fancy a bit of video growth and YouTube's good for it. Another one is dump and run. Another one is you're going all in on YouTube. You want to make that happen. And, you know, and it might just be you're hosting videos there to use elsewhere in a membership, a community, or on your website, because you don't really want to put a video directly on your website. You want to link to it. And that's fine. All of that is fine. None of that is wrong. But what we're talking about is if you do have that video on YouTube doing something and it is public, by following these tips, it is more likely to be watched, more likely to get new people entering your ecosystem by what we call a virtual door, you know, just an instance of you out on the internet where they can find you. And when they're coming through that, opportunity happens. And we're big on opportunities because you don't know when the next opportunity is going to come from. We are all global brands. Every business is a global brand the second you put anything on the internet. So it's an opportunity to recognize that and make the most of that and, you know, and see what opportunities can come. And we're not just talking about YouTube monetization. It could be, you know, new clients. It could, your videos could be validating what you do in your B2B service or your, you know, what you do with your product-based business. There's lots of things we can do, but we need to get that working for us and understand that. Which takes us to point one. We're only just on point one, but we are there. Loads of time for questions today. We've got The Rock. Deep down, I do believe I'm The Rock. Clearly, I can't be. But when he did wear this yellow turtleneck, I'm like, he is my twin brother, pretty much. I just got to get my sunglasses sorted. So feel free to call me The Rock from here on in. No, don't do that. I don't think even my ego could cope with that. Right. So the resemblance is uncanny. Thanks, David. I always liked you. So there are genuinely 3 things you need to do to get your video found. That's it. And found being the key word here. This is not, I'm not guaranteeing you 1 million views. I'm guaranteeing you that this will get your video found. Now, factoring in when you put something on the internet, it's your job as the poster to ensure that whatever platform you are posting that content to, you give that platform enough information so that they know who to show it to. Does that make sense? So if you like put a video up and it's called Yellow Tuxedo in Pants, they're only going to think about showing that to people who are looking for yellow tuxedo pants, right? They're not really going to think about people who might be in our audience looking for content we're creating. So the first place we can go to ensure that this video is optimized, that's optimized is the phrase we use. The first place we go is the title. The title. And in this instance, we've got how to optimize my Instagram for search engines. So we know that is an optimized title. I'm going to come to how you do this research in a minute, okay? So we know that by putting an optimized title in, that YouTube knows that that's where that people who are typing that in, they know to show that video to. but we need to give them a little bit more information as well, okay? So not just the title. The next place is in the description. We need to ensure that these titles, these key phrases are also in the description. Because what's happening is YouTube is trawling your content and it's going, okay, Yellow Tuxedo have put a video up. Who do I show it to? Otherwise, it's just sat on the internet looking pretty. So the first thing they're going to do is look at the title, how to optimize my Instagram for search engines. Fine. Is that a mistake? Is that what they mean? Let's have a look at the description. So then YouTube, this is the algorithm. This is as much as we pander to it. Then they look at the description and they go, yeah, no, the description, they're talking about how to optimize my Instagram for search engines. They've got that in there as well. This is clear that this is to show to people who are looking for how to optimize my Instagram for search engines. So we need to ensure that that information is relevant and there. I need to go back a slide. Bear with me. Sorry. Okay. No, that's fine. I haven't forgotten that. And there's an extra massive benefit to this optimization, which we see with our content all the time. Because Google owns YouTube, your optimized videos will not only rank on YouTube, but they will rank on Google. So you actually start to get double whammy for your content. So by optimizing your video, and we'll come to the third thing to do in a moment, by optimizing your video, it will not just appear on YouTube, it will appear on Google. And the more you do, the more happens. It's a very, we see it all the time. Like and if we got time, I can show you some stats on our channel. And we see all the time, we'll have a video like 20% of the traffic from YouTube, 80% of the traffic external down here, 90% from Google. So we know that that video is appearing in the Google search rankings, and that's where the traffic's coming from. Now, the third one, and we see this used wrongly all the time, okay? Yes, Richard Hiron, all the time. The third one is tags. These are not hashtags. These are not the type of people you want to see this post. This is not where you write, in how to optimize my Instagram for search engine, you wouldn't write small business, yellow, Kellogg's. I'm trying to think of other words, what day is it today? Thursday. You don't write stuff like that. It's not a hashtag, small business support tribe, small businesses rock. No, it is derivatives of the main keyword. So in this instance, where we've got how to optimize my Instagram for search engines, the tags are, ignore the top four. The tags are how to optimize my Instagram for search engines, optimize Instagram for SEO, Instagram SEO tips, Instagram SEO. All of the tags are derivatives of the main title keyword. Now, it's really important here. YouTube's official wording is that tags is actually for misspellings. So if we're using optimize, you could put optimize with a Z in there as well as an S. But we find it's very useful for derivatives of and misspellings. So adjusting the key phrase in different ways, as we've done here, or in putting spellings in. And to be honest, I'm such a bad speller because I get overexcited and I type too fast. What I do, I just usually type the same phrase a few times and go with those versions. So if you do these steps 1, 2, and 3, your video will appear in the rankings. Fact. And it will appear in the Google rankings. But that's not enough. We'll come to that in a moment. We need to finish this section first. So just to confirm, and this is one of those kind of things that trigger me, when no one is searching on Google for episode 1 Yellow Tuxedo. So it's great that we're creating content, but we're missing an opportunity by mistitling it. And by calling it episode 1 Yellow Tuxedo or thereabouts, no one is searching on it. And we know for a fact no one is searching on it, because we can go into Google keywords and we can search on that, and Google will tell us how many people have searched on it. And it's returned 0 to 10 because the only person who's searched on it is me. So when we know for a fact that no one ever is searching for episode 1 yellow tuxedo. No one's searching on yellow tuxedo and hoping to find our podcast, for argument's sake. No one's searching for yellow tuxedo hoping to find how to optimize my Instagram for SEO. They're not doing that. So what we then can do is use Google keywords to do our keyword research. This link, this is free from Google. I'm just going to put the link, right. Jules, how many tags should we include? It's up to 500 characters. So as many as you can, up to 500 characters, and it won't let you post anymore. There is, let me just make a note. I'll come to that in the questions section. Let me just write this down so I don't forget it. Yeah, so tags is up to 500. And I know Google keywords seems like hard work, but it's really, really not. You know, it's really, really not. What we're doing, I apologize for the smelly cheese example. I think I was feeling a bit jaded when I was creating this, and I thought I'd try and be funny by putting smelly cheese, but now wholeheartedly wishing I'd put something a bit more relevant. But what we're typing in is something relevant to our content. You know, with Alison, it might be mindfulness. With Jackie, it might be public speaking. With Stebbington, it might be, you know, business support, something like that. And we want to start searching for keywords around what we're looking for. In a perfect world, when we create content, what we advise is concept, keyword, content. So you have the idea for the content first, then you check the keyword, then you create the content. And by checking the keyword, we're creating the title for the content. And what you can start to do is build up this list of keywords, and everything in this list is what is searched on Google. And we know what people are typing in, we know how many average monthly searches they're getting, and we know what the competition is. In a perfect world, we would like to use keywords that are somewhere between 10 to 100 and 100 to 1,000. So in this example, from smelly cheese down to smelly cheese name. And you know, then if we look at the competition, we would want to be using the ones with low competition. That's ideally what we would want to be using. And we can start to, and if we've got time at the end, and I'm pretty confident we will, we can dive into Google keywords, more than happy, and we can actually have a look together and just start trying to formulate a few titles. Because it is very easy to formulate a how-to keyword, because people are typing into Google how to. I looked for Canva the other day. I shared it into today's newsletter. Can't remember what it was, but if you got our newsletter today, the what we're watching on YouTube was something I wanted. It was changing all fonts in one document. I Googled how to change all fonts on Canva in one document, and got a result for a UK-based company who were providing that answer on YouTube. So let's do our keyword research. The how-to stuff is much easier to label than the other content we're going to come to in a moment, the kind of extra content that's not highly optimizable, but it is still available to do. And we will come to that in just 1 second. Okay, so please do. Google Keywords is free. You do not need to pay for it. You do not need to put your credit card details in. They just make you think like you do. But if you look around, you'll see the option to sign up without having to do that. And then you can just start researching this. And this is something we do regularly. For pretty much every piece of macro content we put out, we will do this research as part of our workflow. And the reality is it probably adds on 2 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that. Now, it's really important. Done is better than correct, perfect every day of the week. If you're spending 10, 15 minutes on this, you've spent too long, right? You're busy. You're very busy. You don't want to spend that much time on it. But it is worth adding into that workflow to ensure you're getting those titles correct. Because if those titles are correct based on what Google are telling us, then they appear in the Google and the YouTube rankings. That's the point. Okay. Next up, it's great that your videos are going to rank. That's fabulous. But now we need people to click on your video. And in all fairness, this is probably more important than ranking, because if they don't click on it, all that will happen is the platforms, Google and YouTube, will drop you off the bottom pretty quickly. So we want our videos to be clicked on so we stay up in the very keen search results, right? And once again, there is genuinely only 3 things you can do to truly affect, when you don't have a massive audience, that you can truly affect for people to click on your video. The single most important thing you can do, full stop, like nothing else comes close for video content, in all fairness, probably all content, is the cover art, is the artwork, is the image. If it is not right, people will not click. Their eyes will not stop. They will not go through to it. They do not want to know more. And it, once again, it's super important. You know, the best, if those who know Mr. Beast, the biggest YouTuber in the world, the best bit of advice I ever got from him on cover arts is, as he's creating it, he shrinks it right down on the screen, because the vast majority of time when we're on YouTube, on our phones or wherever, we're looking at it really tiny, whereas most people design their artwork full screen and go, oh, that's a piece of art, you know, that could be in the Tate Modern. When the reality is, you want to look at it nice and small. Is it still making sense? Are people going to stop and have a look on it? Because when we are searching, and this is about searching on YouTube and Google for results, the first thing we see is the cover art. Subconscious, this is eyes darting around the screen. And one of the many reasons we adopted yellow was because when we were looking around starting this company, and we were looking at some of the video content, because we were always going to do video content, most of the other people are using shades of gray, shades of black, and shades of navy, and there's always a lot of pastel colors. So we're like, well, hold on, we're going to go with the yellow. We want to stand out from the start. So we had that advantage. One of the things I do really regularly, is that even English? One of the things I do regularly is I go onto YouTube and I do a random search and I start to think about what I would click on. Now, there's a few things to factor in here. This is about your audience. No one's going to know your audience as well as you do. So if you're trying to get Mr. Beast's fans to watch your videos that are on mindset or leadership, then make your cover arts like Mr. Beast's. You know, if your audience is slightly different, then you might want to use a cover art that's relevant to them. But that doesn't mean you can't factor it standing out from the crowd and looking a bit different. That's really key. And shrink it down. Okay, so understand what your audience want. Go and pick up some tips from other big YouTubers who are creating. I actually saw a guy with 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube, an entertainment kind of channel, adventure, and he was advertising for a cover art editor. He just wanted someone to create him cover art. That's how important it is. There are jobs just creating cover art. Clearly, we're not doing that. We are creating our own. That's what we're doing. So let's get that on. So number one, the final thing is, I believe this is about the only time ever you can shop for yourself in sales. Like, never shop for yourself in sales. Never presume someone's not going to buy it or they are going to buy it, unless it's cover art, when you think, would I click on that? So that's about the only time. Number two, after our eyes have darted to the cover art, they dart to the title to validate our choice. So what you'll find on a lot of YouTubers, the cover art and the title are different. They don't replicate the cover art on the title. So there's quite a big thing about ours is okay. Ours is not brilliant, but I can use it as an example. No, ours is brilliant. You know, on ours, we've got Life, the trailer, but when you go to the title, it's the best small business podcast, you know, Digital Circus Life. And once again, we're leading with the best small business podcast. That's our key phrase. We're not talking about yellow tuxedo there. We do have Digital Circus Life in there because we want to grow that keyword. And then we've got a sub keyword. This is called keyword bundling on YouTube. We've got best podcasts for small business owners. So we've actually got 3 keywords in our title. 2 are relevant to each other, the first and the last one. And we've snuck in our brand, Digital Circus Life, because we want to grow that. So when we're darting around, we dart from the cover art to the title. So let's look at the chap underneath. Bigger pockets business, buying and growing a small business with little to no risk. You know, so we've gone from the cover art to the title. And that is the second thing. We validate it. The title should answer the question that the cover art has already started to answer based on our search. Does that make sense? It needs to validate that next step. So if we're looking for entertainment, or we're looking for an answer, we're going to be searching for something. The cover art should immediately appease us, and then the title confirms that. And the third one is something people don't factor in, but the clue is already in the picture. It's the first line of the description. Many people can put, we'll leave this blank. Many people will put like a sign up here to us, but it's once again an opportunity to validate. It's potentially an opportunity to send people somewhere else. It's another opportunity to get our video clicked on, because if they aren't sure by the time they've gone to the cover art and the title, the chances are the next place they're looking is the first line of that description. They are the only three things we can affect that come to people clicking on it, and they all work in harmony with each other. All right, it's really, really important. And we're trying to put a lot of work into the first line of our descriptions, because I used to be a bit of a description dump and runner, actually. So trying to put a lot of extra work into them to increase the click-through rate. So yeah, they are the three things we can do to get people to click onto our videos, and it's all we can do. Now, you can help yourself. Like if you have a huge audience, then you're probably going to get a higher click through, because they're already bought into you, they're already engaged in you. But when this is out organically working, then that's not coming from your large audience. So actually you still want it to work. And we see lots of YouTubers will change the cover art. We change ours. If I've got a bit of a quiet week and I think a video could be doing better and is already doing okay, I will go and adjust the cover art. Like we did loads with white text on yellow. Obviously not good, like this one right here. We've gone round and slowly started tidying some of them up, and have seen the click-through rate go up on already published videos. So you can adjust continuously. Okay, so we've done the three things to get your video found and the three things to get your video clicked on. Brilliant. But now we need to look, if you adjust the cover art, does it reboot the algorithm search? Right, actually, Jules, I don't know the answer to this question. Okay, so yes is the answer, basically. Ignore the use of the word algorithm. Sorry, that's what got me stumped. But if you change the title, it will start to put it in a different place. And we've done that over the years. We've changed titles and then seen it appear something else. Like we went on a keyword that was too small, too vague, no, too specific. So changed it to a much more kind of on point keyword. Rather than going Instagram SEO tips, we changed it to how to Instagram for SEO, like type thing, a much more. And so you can adjust it accordingly. And that's a really big thing. That's the same with blogs and podcasts. If you've got a piece of content that you think should be doing better, go and change the cover art and the title and the description. Do a bit of keyword research and adjust it. Then share it around on your social platforms to almost give it a jump start. And kind of, it will basically jumpstart again. It's quite clever, and it's quite handy, and it's quite beneficial, really. So you can do all that adjusting at all times, which takes us on to, look, I'm such a child. This next slide is so going to make me smile. It comes along to strategy. So now we are on strategy, using YouTube as a small business. Thank God Steps did an on-brand color. White is one of our lesser used colors for obvious reasons, but God bless Faye H. Lee Claire. Don't know, can't remember the fifth one. So Emily's shouting up the answer, bless her. So yeah, but let's concentrate on strategy. So we're looking at strategy now, and once again, this is really important, because if we only put out highly optimizable how-to content, which is okay, right? Once again, there is nothing wrong on this. What we may find is people are just getting the answer and leaving. So they go, how do I do this on Canva like I was looking for the other day? I didn't subscribe to her channel. I did give her a thumb up because hashtag be social always. I dropped a thumb up and then I left because I got my answer. So what we find on a very, kind of optimizable how-to video is people won't hang around. They get the answer and they leave. That's what happens. Now, if you're amazing in the video, they're probably going to stay around a little bit longer. But we find a perfect balance is kind of a sweet spot, which takes us to, I just want to leave this slide up, which takes us to a discussion around adding value. There's many ways to add value, many ways. And there's entertain, there's not many ways, there's 3 ways. What am I talking about? There's entertain, inform, and inspire. Now, the majority of the content I've discussed today, this highly optimizable how-to content, is in the inform, isn't it? We're giving that answer, we're validating our knowledge. We see a lot of social media around this. It's like 5 email marketing tips, SEO for champs. And there's a lot of information-based, knowledge-based, add value content out there. But we usually just grab that information and go, as I was just saying a minute ago. So having a mix and including some entertaining or inspiring content is a much better way of approaching this as a small business. Don't get me wrong, right? If you're going all in on YouTube, we're talking, Mr. Beast, Matt Armstrong, or whoever else I follow, the running channel, then you go all in on YouTube and that's, you do it. If you're enjoying creating content and want to use YouTube a bit more and create video content that's going to work, this is the strategy to follow. So you have some highly optimized inform how-to content that you can balance with some entertain and inspire. Now, if you're really good, you might be able to entertain and inspire within the how-to content, or you could do it with some collaborations or a podcast or some vlogs or some challenge videos, small business challenge videos, which we've got some coming up in the pipeline when we get round to planning them and recording them. And there's many other things you can do to kind of keep people on your channel, because once they've discovered you and they potentially use you again, then they're going to stay. And what we see is a nice balance of that literally entertain, inform, and inspire, and a nice mix. Now, if you're going in and you want to create weekly content, then you create weekly content. If not, it's like you like making video content, you want a bit here and there, then this is what to think about when you're creating that, okay? But remembering to optimize it, those 3 things to get it found and those 3 things to get it clicked on. And we've been doing that literally for a decade. And like I say, just a small business where we've never gone all in on YouTube. We use it a lot. We've got videos with 140,000 views, and I'm not allowed to talk about that. Emily gives me a dead arm. And we've got other videos on Yellow Tuxedo with 76,000. And we do find that they bring people into our ecosystem. At one point, YouTube was generating the most traffic to our website. And it's a fantastic place to be. So it is worthwhile. And then obviously we get to use that content, as we talked about in the macro content pyramid, we get to use it across all other platforms as well, and it formulates part of our entire content strategy. And we just find that when you start with macro content, that social content becomes so much easier because you're not trying to think of something new every day. You've got that whole, Gary V, document, don't create. You're talking about what's coming up. You talk about during when you're doing it, and then you're launching it, and then you can, share it out repeatedly. And this evergreen, highly optimizable content is out there working forever for you. That's it. And you can adjust it forever and eternity. Okay, any questions? This is little Joe. He's our youngest. We love him, obviously. But any questions, feel free to unmute yourselves if you have any questions. What about shorts? Yeah, shorts on YouTube, Debbie, follow exactly the same format. Let me jump into YouTube very quickly. New share. Bear with me. So if I don't think you're about to see anything dodgy, but if I take you into the back end of our YouTube channel and I take you to analytics, you're seeing all our stuff now. And I take you to, so past 48 hours, what have we got going? so no, that's popped in. We have, there we go. Emily talking about Jay from the In-Betweeners has consistently had views since we launched that short because we've got the phrase Jay from the In-Betweeners in it. Now, obviously, that's going to come under entertainment. That's not going to come under inform and inspire. But we've got a client we do a lot of work for where they do a lot of shorts that are relevant to their industry, very short how-tos, and all of his shorts rank and continuously post and continuously get traffic. So shorts are also highly optimizable and can appear in the rankings regularly. And we can check that pretty simply by, let's go YouTube. I'm going to stick with Canva because we all know Canva. How to change fonts on Canva. Let's see what we got. So there we go. We've got 3 shorts coming up as the top suggestion. And if we are time poor, let's be brutally honest, we're probably going to click on one of those shorts first. If we have a bit more time, then we may scroll down. There's a lot of blue going on, isn't there? So a short, Ginger, the easy answer, Ginger, is a short is anything under 1 minute. It is different to that, but that's the best thing to think about. A short is under 1 minute. And if we look here, have they got the time on them? Why would they? Oh, they always have the time on them. So they'll all be under them. We'll click on one just to check, actually. There is no, how funny. I wonder if they're removing the times then to keep us engaged for longer. Okay, they don't have the times on them, but they're all under 1 minute. All right. Let me go back. Any other questions? Did I just see in the chat? Thank you. That's where I fell down because I didn't add any descriptions or tags or anything. It's so easy, Debbie. It is absolutely so easy. Let me get this done. I was quite proud of this new slide as well. I wanted to share it. There, some of the Digital Circus members there. Subliminal plug and all that. So yeah, it's really easy. You know, we're busy, we're creating, we know we need to make video content. We understand the importance of video content. So we get it out there, and done is better than perfect any day of the week. But just slowing down and adding in a few moments into your workflow to ensure those 6 steps are done will make a massive difference. You know, and we can, let me screen share again. Is there an optimal length for videos? No, Alison, this is a fact. It's again, so everything's a fact. I don't know why I say that. A video should be as long as it needs to be. So, you know, if you're doing this is not meant to be funny, but if you're doing a 10-minute meditation, then it's a 10-minute video. But if I'm clicking on a 10-minute meditation and it's 25 minutes long, I am going to be wondering what's happening for the other 15 minutes. So that's quite a good way of thinking about it, you know. If you want to get into monetization, then length of video is very important, but one step at a time. For the moment, we want our content working. I'm getting asked to add captions in other languages on my YouTube, unsure how to do this. Jules, let me take that one away and think about that one.
Can I just add in, I'll just maybe easier speaking it?
Yeah.
I've just worked out how to add their captions in YouTube, because I add captions in CapCut and uploads, but I know it's better to also have their embedded captions. But because of my accent, it's a complete pain in the neck to go in and change all my misinterpreted words. I think it's in there, but I don't quite know how to add. I've been asked to translate to Spanish. I've been asked to translate to French. Yeah, so I know there's a way, but I'm not quite sure how.
So I know Emily was telling me the other day, this is one of those things I feel I should know, but she was downloading the captions from YouTube, and it was on my list of, let me know how you do that.
And you also mentioned about monetizing, and there's a certain length for videos. So I am super close to being able to monetize mine.
Yeah.
And I want to know, and somebody else has said they need to be at least 12 minutes now, because a few of mine are quite short, and he was telling me to increase, because then that's when the advert breaks come in for you to help.
So yes, but no, but. So okay. the main eligibility for monetization is watch hours. So the longer your video, they have to watch it. So what I've noticed is some of the bigger YouTubers have gone up from 10 minutes to 20 minutes because they are trying to get those watch hours. If after that it's then ad breaks, etc., then yeah, then that you want a slightly longer video. But there's no point pumping out 20-minute videos if people are clicking out after 60 seconds because like your 10-minute meditation's got 15 minutes of sales in the beginning, for argument's sake. So yes, you want a longer video, but you need to ensure people are staying there to watch it all. Otherwise, all of that effort will be for nothing. And you can get to monetization from shorts as well. You know, there's a guy called a British YouTuber called Max Fosh, and he's one of his shorts got like 25 million views of him Uno reverse carding a ref or something. And you're like, that's his money for a period of time off of one short, you know. So but that's their business. Am I still screen sharing? No, I thought I was. I had it on this screen and just realized it wasn't actually screen sharing. So yes. How raw is too raw? How raw is too raw, i.e. unedited? I think once again that's about your audience. There's loads of YouTubers that are highly polished, but there's loads of YouTube that's very raw. You know, it's about what your audience are expecting to see. And there's a few I'm not going to remember any of them now. Right, Jules, hold the captions one, because I think Emily might know the answer to that. There's a lot of gardening type lifestyle, natural garden design. This isn't going to bring it up. Yeah, no, there's a lot of, I can't think what's the word. What's these people who kind of, not homesteads, but there's a word like that for people who are kind of going off grid. Let's try that. That's not why. Off grid living. Yeah, look, basically my point is raw's fine. Even some of the top YouTubers are recording on their iPhones and just chucking an edit together. It's about the kind of the content you're delivering, really. As long as it's engaging, it's fine. And if you were going to do like a 3, 4, 5, 6 minute how-to, then it's even more fine, you know, especially on quite a lot of you guys who are in here today. So, okay. Any other questions? No, I am happy. I'm here for I'm more than happy for staying for another 10 minutes. Would you like me, as we have 5-10 minutes, websites in description, always, ecosystem, where are you sending them next? Embrace the gray. You like, how many times have you discovered someone and gone, oh, I quite like them, I'm going to have a nose around? Like I do it all the time. We need to provide that opportunity. We need to provide that next step. Always, always, always. Otherwise, that virtual door leads nowhere. So we have to always provide the next step. Am I still screen sharing? Yes. Right. Would you like me to just jump into keywords really quickly for a couple of examples? Right. Let's do this then. I need that window. I need that window. Right, so this is free from Google. It's pretty much simple. Average view apart from be less boring. Yeah, I have to say, David, I'm going to be, if look, always happy to be honest, our average view durations are not brilliant. I don't know if you saw our watch times. We're one of the many reasons we've done a podcast is to try and improve those average durations. One of the things I see a lot of people do is by ensuring at the very beginning, you talk about what you're going to get in the video. So therefore, if we go, and you'll see like Mr. B, I mean, he's the pro, so why not learn from the pros? He'll be at the video at the beginning going, we blow up this tank with Semtex, right? And then the video starts, but they don't blow up the tank with Semtex until the end of the video. Now, obviously, we need to come up with our small business version of that. So if it's a how-to on leadership per se, it could be, in this video, I'm going to discuss the 3 main leadership techniques when working in a contact center. Sorry, not very exciting. And then obviously they're going to be going, okay, so this is the big challenge. It's our responsibility to create interesting content. It's our that's our responsibility. Now, following a sequence like the Jules here, designer in your pocket, she wins this one because people want to follow it to know how to do it. The challenge with Jules is then getting them staying, but then because she's amazing, they probably are staying anyway. So these are the things that happen after being clicked on, being found and being clicked on. But managing expectations at the beginning of the video is a great thing we can do to try and keep people to stay. So, right, we're in Keyword Planner. This is the screen we come to. It doesn't work very well when it's minimized. So, sorry, not on a big window because they like to give us this big box. So let's take something. Let's take an highly optimizable first. So let's type in Canva fonts as an example. So we've got Canva fonts, best Canva fonts, fonts, not fonts. It's not a font, it's a font. Arial font. Okay, so it's just talking about fonts, and we know people are searching on these. So we could, in this instance, use what are, hold on, I've got to put that into a sentence. Let's find one that's easier. The Canva, there we go. We could literally put a the, because it's still got to be readable. We could put a the on the beginning of that one, the Canva cursive fonts, right? And we're gonna, we know people are searching on it, and we know there's low competition. Granted, that's not the most exciting, but I am trying to just kind of find some examples. Or we can look at how to change fonts, as that's the example I was talking about. And you've got how to change fonts on Canva. We know 10 to 100 people a month are looking on this with low competition. So it's a really, you could create that content straight away. So when we're doing our keyword research, we can get answers straight away. And it's we can add that to our what to create content on list. So then that's content that we don't need to think about because we've just been given the answer. The conversational podcast ones are a bit trickier. And David, I know you fall into that world. Jackie, you're in that world. We're in that world. And one of the things we've done to work on that is that keyword bundle. So small business podcasts. So what we are using, as well as the title, and I'll come to the title part in a minute, is we're doing bundles. So you'll see lots of our videos and our content will have a few of these on there. So we're bundling content around that keyword to try and own that keyword, right? So that's one of the things we are doing to try and own that, because titling a podcast is tricky because we don't want to do how to optimize Canva fonts, right? As a podcast, we want, this is about entertain and inspire. This is not about informing necessarily. So we can keyword bundle and we can find more optimizable keywords. But then in the video we put out today, we only have, so I want to be a digital nomad with family. We were searching around digital nomad family because that's what Laura was talking about. And we found digital nomad family, 10 to 100 low. So we thought, okay, let's try and include that in the title. So we've got digital nomad family. We've got her name or the brand name of the person we're using, whether it be Canva, Instagram, or the other business we're talking to. And then we have a keyword bundle on the end of it. We have up to 100 characters for a title, but it's super important to have the answer 1, 2, 3 first. Okay, so when they go from cover art to title, the answer needs to be first. So if we take Laura, for example, we only have 17 summers with our kids. Wow, what's that about? I want to be a digital nomad with my family. Do you? I need to know more, you know, and that's what's happening in our heads in nanoseconds. And feel free to watch that video, obviously, or listen to that podcast episode. Does that explain the whole keyword thing a little bit more? Cool. Let me just check through the comments, see if I've missed anything. Websites in descriptions. Yes. So you don't get a backlink, but you get a no follow backlink. So it won't actually appear. Hey, look, David, looking at your thumbs up. Does anyone else do this? Look. Right, mine does that. So you get a no follow backlink. So it builds your ecosystem, but it doesn't build your domain authority. So yes, that's what happens. Designer in your pocket. I was chatting to a huge YouTuber last week, Rob Bolivar. How big? I need to know now. He said short form video like TikTok intros is influence how it begins. Yeah, I can imagine. Absolutely can imagine that. He has to engage from the start. And one of Mr. Beast's tips, which does not help the podcasters in here, is I believe he changes the shot is something like every 4 or 5 seconds. If you watch a Mr. Beast video, it will literally go clip, 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 and it's a bit longer than that because he has to say something in them, but you get the point, right? And it's so fast, which clearly is out of the editing capabilities of some of us, but at least factoring that in and thinking about what we can do as a version of that is really important. Fundamentally, in the highly optimizable content, the how-to stuff, if someone wants an answer, they want an answer. So you don't need to jump around and do graphics and fancy stuff because they want an answer. One of my favorite videos is from the running channel, and they did a real-time sub 25 minutes 5-kilometer run. There was someone on a bike holding a GoPro who filmed this runner do her 5K. It was one shot, no graphics, no edits. It was 24 minutes and like 50 seconds long. And it was like, we were mesmerized. I watched the entire thing. I like running, it does help. But you know what I mean? So we just have to think about what's going on with when we create this content. David, we've got the same problem. We need to buy more cameras to create new angles as well. 400K, yeah, that is pretty big, isn't it? That's good. Debbie, thank you. Always a pleasure. That's a direct message. Cool. Right. That's it, team. So this is going to be, this is recorded. When I get round to it, I will share it out and send it all. I'm also going to send you, those of you who aren't in the Digital Circus, the link to join the waiting list, which as I'm here, let's chuck it in the chat again, because the doors are closed. You can't join the waiting list. You can't join the Digital Circus right now. It won't be again until 2024. So if you'd like to join the waiting list, please do. Debbie, you're all amazing. Can't wait to see you on the tube. Yes, sorry, before we go, chuck your YouTube channels in the chat. Click on the 3 dots and save them. So let's all chuck our YouTube channels. Always a pleasure, everyone. Always, always, always a blimmin' pleasure. Yeah, so one of the things I don't think we didn't talk about this because it wasn't relevant in this section, but is making sure you get your account name, you know, so at Yellow Tuxedo. So you go into settings and you can sort that out. And once again, that's part of that ecosystem. It allows us to go at Yellow Tuxedo everywhere. So really important. Always a pleasure, everyone. Thank you all so much. Have fun always. Thanks, guys. Take it easy. See you out there.